couples at the open house were eager to buy. Greg and Stacy decided they would have to put together a strong offer quickly to compete. They bid the asking price of $669,000. Stacy even wrote a thank you note to the owners to improve the chances of their bid being accepted. The price tag was a little more than they had anticipated spending, but the two agreed they could afford their prize if they kept their spending on extras to a minimum. They won the bidding war, but just a month after they moved in, they discovered that the mildewy odor was a symptom of a much bigger water problem. Water soaked the basement carpet. They gutted the room down to its studs and installed a new drainage system as well as a new carpet, wainscoting, and furniture. But that was only a prelude to the problems created a year later by a massive rainstorm. At 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning, I heard water running, Stacy recalls. I went downstairs and it was like a levee had broken. There was water coming through the wall, up from under the floorboards, everything. Greg and Stacy worked like a bucket brigade, emptying the house of water. More renovations ensued. In the first 2 years of owning the house, they had to replace several skylights, fix leaky soffits, and excavate the backyard to install French drains. The price tag, a total of nearly $36,000, was sizable and unexpected. Because the two were stretching to buy the house in the first place, they had little room in their budget to finance the repairs. Greg tapped his retirement fund to pay for the biggest repairs, but the problems left the family strapped. Had the two been in less of a rush and hired an inspector, they would have been spared the setback. Compare their situation with that of Ted and Barbara. At the time, the two decided they had outgrown their Queens, New York condo. The market couldn't have been more hostile to buyers. Prices were on the rise in Westchester County, where they had decided to move. Attractive homes were drawing multiple bids and bidding wars. If ever there were a time for buyers to hold up and wait, this was it. But the couple came up with a strategy that allowed them to find a home that fit their needs, yet didn't break their budget. They started by investigating neighborhoods. They quickly ruled out the most expensive ones, such as Scarsdale and Bronxville, where competition was the most heated and the potential for overbidding high. And they knew they didn't want to move too far away from their jobs. Ted worked in Queens, while Barbara worked in Manhattan. When Ted's boss suggested they check out his commuter town, Sleepy Hollow, they liked what they saw. Prices in the town were high, but not stratospheric. When they found a quaint bungalow with some maintenance issues, they pounced. Exterior paint was peeling, and interior hardwood floors had been badly damaged by renters. The kitchen hadn't been updated in years. Rhododendrons had been allowed to grow nearly to the eaves, and the overall appearance from the outside caused many potential buyers to drive past without even seeing the interior. After confirming the house had no structural issues, the two decided to buy, driven mostly by the idea that the house was well priced for the neighborhood at $475,000. Because the two were able to purchase the house at such an attractive price, they could spend money on upgrades. They had the cramped kitchen stripped out and updated with roomy oak cabinets and stainless steel appliances. They repainted the house, warming up rooms with rich colors to replace the faded creams and whites. The floors were refinished. The exterior was painted a sophisticated gray-green, and the shrubs trimmed or removed altogether. Within a few short months of buying, the house was transformed. "We were enthusiastically welcomed by our neighbors," said Ted. "Most commented they really had never been able to see just how beautiful the house was beneath all those overgrown shrubs. One neighbor even said she would have bought the house long ago had she known what was hidden beneath." That's a great feeling. After the two had completed the transformation of their home, they set their sights on a real eyesore house in the neighborhood to buy, fix up, and sell, an investment they never would have been able to even consider had they not bought so advantageously in the first place. Greg and Stacy's failure to investigate the musty odors they smelled during their initial